Hello and welcome to the section 5.1 lecture. Today we're going to be talking about graphing coordinates. This is your note page. It's in your notebook for flipped algebra 1 winter term. We're going to go over some of these things and I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what I expect you to have done and then a possible extension if you want to keep going and get a little bit more practice where you can find that. Okay, so just getting started here, the Cartesian plane is, as a definition, really just our standard XY plane. So what we usually will graph things on, its official name is the Cartesian plane. Okay, a point is just a location. And I'm going to say generally just a location in space. Okay, that can be in our 2D space that we're working with when we're graphing. There's two dimensions, or it could even be in 3D space. Okay. The x-axis is our horizontal axis. Okay. So again, just to kind of point these things out as we go, the whole thing is the Cartesian plane. Our horizontal axis is our x-axis. So that entire kind of main horizontal line. The y-axis is our vertical axis. So here we have our y-axis. A point is just any of the points that we could come up with. They don't have to be along these little minor grid lines. They could be really anywhere. These are just some of them. For the origin is, if we think about what the word origin means, it is the 0, 0 kind of starting point. The word origin does mean the point where everything kind of comes from. So it's our starting point. So right here we have the origin. And then for quadrants, we have 4 quadrants or 4 sections of the graph. 4 sections of the graph. Okay. Now where are those quadrants? Where do they live? They're all determined by their x and y values, namely the signs of their x and y values. A little bit of an overlap there, but that's okay. This whole region here is the first quadrant where everything is positive. We can call that Q1. We use Q for quadrant and then the Roman numerals 1 through 4. All points in this quadrant, everything here has a positive x value and a positive y value. So positive, positive. If we look at this one here, so to extend this, to go beyond quadrant 1, we go counterclockwise, which is a little bit weird, but it is what it is. Over here we have Q2. And in Q2, all of those coordinates, all the x values are negative, and the y values are positive. Okay. Next one, counterclockwise, working our way counterclockwise, is down here. And this one would be Q3. And in Q3, quadrant 3, all points have negative x values and negative y values. Okay. And then lastly, our quadrant 4 is down here. Like I said, there are 4 sections to the graph, so this is the 4th of those 4 sections. And we call it quadrant 4, or Q4. 4 in Roman numerals, if you're not aware, is IV. And all these points have positive x values but negative y values. Okay. And now for how to plot points. So we've talked about what all these things are, but one of the main goals that we have is to actually find all these points and figure out where they live on the graph. So how to plot points? Well, the first thing we want to do is start at the origin. So start at the origin, and then we're going to move horizontally. So I'm going to say left or right, based on our x value. And then finally we will move up or down based on the y value. Okay. So it says plot the points on the graph to the right. There aren't any points there. So either I was supposed to put them in there and didn't, or somehow they didn't transfer over, but let's just come up with a couple. I want you to pause the video after I get these points on here and try to plot them on this graph. Let's see, we'll go 1, 3, we'll call that A. It's nice when points have names, that way you can dictate which point is which. We'll do 4 of them, A, B, C, and D. Let's go 7, -5, and -8, and 6. So go ahead and pause the video and plot points A, B, C, and D. Okay, good. Hopefully you've had a chance to do that. If we want to plot these points, A is at 1, 3. Now I know this graph is a little bit small, and I typically don't focus on what the numbers are on the graph. If I know that it's like a 1-by-1 graph, that each line just means 1 unit. Okay, we can have graphs that mean other things, but in general, we like it when one line, one segment means 1 unit. But it does make it a little bit harder to get to some of the bigger numbers. Okay, so we should have A there, B there, C at 7, -5. So that's actually straight across from that one. And then D at -8, +6. I think that's that point right there. Point D. Okay, hopefully that's what you came up with. If not, we'll work on that as we go. Another thing that we can do is we can be given points and we can try to find what their coordinates are. So let's go ahead and do that. We have A, B, C, D, E, and F. And we can talk about their quadrants also. Point A is up here. Okay, it's in quadrant 2, and it's at -7, +8. B is over here. It's in quadrant 1, and it's at 5, 7. Point C is down here in quadrant 3, -8, or sorry, -6, -6. D is right here. It's in quadrant 2. It's at -4, +2. E, now E is a weird point. It's on an axis. It has 0 as an x value and -5 as a y value. So it's at 0, -5. And the trick there, talking about what quadrant it's in, if it's on an axis, we just say what axis it's on. Okay, this one is on the y-axis, and if we want to be like super technical, we could say that it's on the negative y-axis. I would be okay if you just came up with y-axis, but if you want to be super, super definitive on where it is, you could say that it's on the negative y-axis. And again, I could have done this for all these. This is in Q2, this is in Q1, this is in Q3, this one is in Q2, and F is at 7, -5. That makes it in Q4. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and do that same thing for these 7 points this time. Hopefully I had a chance to do that. Let's go over these really quick. A is at -6, +4, and that would be in Q2. B is in -2, 3, and it's also in Q2. C is at 0, 8. And we would want to say that that is also on the y-axis. And again, if you wanted to be thorough, you would say it's on the positive y-axis. Point D is at 7, 6, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I can't see those. Can't see those numbers. 7, 6, and that's in Q1. E is at -4, -4. That's in Q3. F is at 3, -2. And that's in Q4. And G is at, looks like 6, -4. And it is also in Q4. Okay. So from here, this video is going to go a little bit into what I expect you to do since you're not with me in class. So some things that you can do. At times, I will kind of limit the practice problems that I think you should do. And I would usually put that in right here, as well as give every mastery challenge we'll have for the virtual setting. It'll have a code word that you have to get right in order to get credit for the mastery challenge. Okay, it'll be typically the first question on there, and it'll be worth the points that give you the points to get credit for the mastery challenge. Okay, the code word for this lesson will be coordinate. Okay, so you will type in coordinate into the blank for the code word. You do that, then that unlocks your score that you actually do when you do the mastery challenge to get that right. So let me, while we're just sitting here, let me put that in. From here, though, what I would expect you to do is to summarize your notes kind of the best that you can. Okay, summarize your notes to the best of your ability. And in doing that, if you're able to do that, then you have a really good understanding of what's going on. Sorry, I'm multitasking. Just so I can have this done. Okay. So yeah, the summarize your notes, it'll go right here. Just a quick summary, one sentence to kind of wrap up everything that you were able to do today. From there, I would ask you to give some of these problems a try. These ones actually go pretty quick. So I think that it's pretty fair to say I would ask you to do 1 through 4 and 9 through 14. Okay. And make sure that you answer both questions here. It's asking what are the ordered pairs and then name the quadrant. Okay. You can give the quick review a shot also. I think that's a good idea. Okay. And then you can also take a look at the application and try to do your best on that. Okay. At the end of the application, there's a little coming up section that goes over what the next step in this class will be. Okay. Let me show, for those of you doing this virtually or in the AM cohort for now, you're kind of in the same boat because I'm not able to be with you to actually do that. From there, you would go to this thing called the Mastery Challenge. Okay. The Mastery Challenge is typically a 5-question little quiz that shows how well you know what you're doing. Okay. For this one, there's the code word question. You type it in. Again, it's coordinate. I'm just making sure that you watch the video. It'll sometimes be at the end, sometimes be in the middle, sometimes even at the start. And then this one's kind of weird on how you answer it. I was trying to get creative on how to ask these questions, but I realize now it makes it look very busy. So let me help you out with just the first one. It says find the coordinates of A, then tell what quadrant or axis contains the point. Select only one answer. So where is A? A is right here, and it's at -3, -4. So it's at -3, -4, and what quadrant is that in? That's in quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3. So we would say right here, that would be our answer. That would be the only box that we check. Okay? And getting that box right will give you all the points. The other ones successfully take points away. But if you mark any others, I'm just going to mark it wrong. So mark only one box that you think is the right answer. Okay? And you can do the rest. I'm not going to go over all of them. I just wanted to give you an idea of how I want you to answer this one in particular because it's kind of tough. Other than that, have a great day, and we will see you in class.